Hey, this is Florian with another mindset shift. Have you ever thought about not being good enough? Has this been a thought in your mind at one point in life? I know it has been for me, and I know that I'm still comparing myself to others. And this idea of become your best version, everything that is around my business and my tagline, eh, this whole idea it's about you and it's about me. It's about becoming our best versions, become the best versions of ourselves. It doesn't say anything about comparing yourself to someone else, and if you don't have the results that you think they have, or it seems like they have, then you're not good enough. No, not at all. You know, comparison, it's one of the worst thing we could do inside of anything. Whenever we start comparing ourselves to others, there is only two things that can happen. One, we compare ourselves to someone who is so far behind us, and we say, "Oh, I'm not as bad as that person." And what we're doing there, we actually became complacent and we don't grow because we are not as bad as they are. Or the other thing that we could do when we are comparing ourselves inside of anything is we compare ourselves to someone who is so far ahead of us, and we take a person that maybe has the good life, they have the car, the family, the house, everything, and so we say to ourselves, "I will never get there," or "When I would, when would I get there? Oh, I will never get there." And so what we're doing in this case, we became discouraged, and we don't do anything because we compare ourselves to someone who is so far ahead of us. So the only person you need to compare yourself with, it's yourself. How to become a better version of yourself today? Are you a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday? Are you a better version of yourself today than you were a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago? And what you're doing every day to become a better version of yourself. And so, this idea of not being good enough, or not feeling confident, for myself at least, it came from myself comparing to others and forgetting that the only fight that I have to have, the only journey that I need to go on. It's the journey of becoming my best version, the best version of myself. And so, you know, whenever you compare yourself to someone, instead of anything, there's only those two things that could happen. You either become complacent because you compare yourself to someone who is behind you, or you became, you know, discouraged because you compare yourself to someone who is so far ahead of you. So whenever you feel down, you feel the feeling of doubt, maybe you lose confidence a little bit, just look back at your life, and look at how much you evolved and you grew over the last weeks and months, and that should fill you up for keep on going. So the idea of, if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel you compare yourself to other, if you feel that you don't know, you don't have anything to share, I'll challenge you on that. You have a lot to share. You have learned things and you know things that people might benefit from. So don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to where you are today with someone that has done this for 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is that you're thinking. Like maybe your job, maybe your family, maybe anything. Don't compare yourself to anybody else because it's irrelevant. So how is that helping you? How is that helping you comparing yourself to someone who is, let's say, ahead of you? How is how is helping me if I compare myself to someone who is better than me? I would say, oh, that should motivate me to, get better. I'm not sure. It might work for some. It might work sometime, but for most of us, when we compare ourselves to someone who is far ahead of us, we get discouraged because the gap is so big. Then we cannot see how we can close that gap between where we are or where we want to be. And so whenever you feel discouraged, whenever you feel that you lose confidence, you lose sight of your goal, maybe just take a moment, reflect a little bit on where you were 6 months from now. And if you're growing, if you're working on becoming your best version every single day, if you do that, then you would have achieved a lot on the last 6 months. And that should be the sign that you're on the right track. That you shouldn't compare yourself to someone who is ahead of you, and you shouldn't compare yourself to, all the things that you haven't done yet or you haven't achieved yet, and look back and look at those things that you have done and achieved, and be proud of those. So this is the mindset shift that I invite you to make. I want you to shift from comparing yourself to others to just compare yourself to yourself. And if today you can, wholehearted say, yes, I'm a little bit better than yesterday. Great. That's the only thing you should look at. Are you becoming a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday? If you do, perfect. Forget about anybody else. We each of us have our own fight that we need to take. We each of us have our own journey that we need to take. And on this journey, the only person that we need to compare ourselves to, it's ourselves. It's our best self. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. See you soon. Bye bye.